to the show. Stupidity round 2. Alright, so last time I told you a little bit about myself, and I told you a story about the playground rumble. Well, this time, it's gonna get personal. So allow me to paint you a picture of my childhood. That was me. Wait, it's not done. Now it's done. The tear. That's what I was missing, the tear. Just kidding, my childhood was fantastic. I had a great childhood. There's no reason to cry. Oh, what? It's not a painting, it's a drawing? To those people, shut up. Hey, Captain, this is ground control. Just letting you know your joke has not landed. While I was growing up, we did lots of things together, me and my sister Leah. We would go to the woods with my dad, we would build forts in the woods. I remember building teepees and oh, it was fantastic. We would play hide and seek in our yard. We would watch movies together. We were good siblings, what can I say? Something that we did together, maybe once with my dad. Now there's a campground that we went to most of the time. And this one particular campground, how do you know the general novelties of a camping ground? We had a couple trees, grass, and our own good company. One particular thing that we did enjoy about this camping ground was a lake. And my goodness, as a small child, the lake was like, it was like endless possibilities, right? You look into the water and you're like, wow, there's so much life just beneath that surface. There could be anything. Missing people, rock, algae, broken glass, drug paraphernalia, maybe a fish. Why don't we take our chances and take a fishing pole? Now, when you're a kid, you know, when you go fishing as a kid, you're given, you know, the kid pole. Tell me you don't know what the kid pole is. The kid pole is made mostly out of plastic. Now, while you might think, oh, it's just a fishing pole, to me, it was like the mighty hammer of Thor. When I wielded it, I was unstoppable as a child with this red, fluorescent, off-colored with a big yellow button, clashing colors. Anyways, my sister had her kid's pole as well, which I remember it being purple, I believe. Let us go fishing. We embarked on a mission, a quest to catch a fish. We went out onto the dock. My father, my sister, and I, with our poles. My dad with the big boy pole, me and Leah with the little kid poles, right? Now keep in mind, I'm younger in this story than I was in the last one. I'm talking like, I might have been 6, 5, 4, maybe even 2. I don't know, not 2, more like 5. And my sister, who is probably 10 at this point. Anywho's, and we're at the dock, right? We're like, yes, this is the place. This is where our dad took us, so dad knows everything. We are going to catch a fish. We fish for half an hour straight. No bites. Fishing sucks if you don't get any bites. That's just the thing. If you don't get bites, it's not really fun fishing. I like fishing when fish bite. That's the whole point. Or is it? We fished for a very long time. And you remember as a child how like an hour, when your parents would be like, oh, just wait an hour and we'll eat dinner. You're like, hour? An hour is like infinity in kid time. We were there for another 15 minutes after the half hour. And my dad's like, hey, I tell you what, kids. I'm gonna hop in my van. I'm gonna drive over to another coastline. All right, you can either come with me or you can stay on the dock, but you gotta stay on the dock so I can see you, all right? I'll come back over and I'll get you. Like, okay, Dad. Yeah, we wanna stay on the dock because the dock's cool. My sister and I still continue to cast our lines because it's just it's at this point now where it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing now. We see our dad drive out to the other side of the coastline, get out of his van, take out his pole, and start casting as well. As I cast into the water, standing beside my sister, who I must say we competed fiercely with each other. We were competitive with each other, especially me. She really wasn't. Everything I had to beat her at, even though she didn't want to. Like, we'd be riding bikes and I'd be like, I wanna beat you! So when I was casting, I was like, I'm going to get fish. I want to get a fish. But alas, that final cast that I gave was like an extension of my arm. I glided across. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. If it was an Olympic sport, I would be getting the platinum medal. I cast this perfect cast, right? Except the kids' pole all of a sudden became my bane. I got a bite. I got a little, I felt it, I swear. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was seaweed. I yanked it out of the water, and it caught on my sister's pole, on her pole string thing. So my sister and I, being kids who didn't really understand how poles and lines work, saying that sounds like it shouldn't be that complicated, but when you're a kid, you make things seem complicated, okay? What ended up happening as a result of this is my sister's pole in the reel got tangled, but my superior pole held strong. It did not tangle. It was untanglerable. This Excalibur of fishing poles is still superior than any professional pole. I could catch whales and sharks with this thing if I wanted to. Possibilities are endless. Endless. Once me and my sister have gotten our lures back onto the dock, my sister proceeds to whine. And I, being the mature of the two, decided, you know what? I'm gonna help you, sister. We're gonna figure this thing out together. Because we're siblings, and that's what siblings do. What does she do? She takes my pole and starts fishing, while I am there like a good brother slaving away at her useless piece of plastic. Purple plastic! I could not be seen as a young male child with girlish colors. We were alone and I worked vigorously, slaving away. Sweat drenched me. I was untangling my sister's pole. I kid you not. Very next cast, my mighty pole, there was a legitimate bite. A ferocious clamping onto the bait, a yanking on the other side from beneath the surface. It was unmistakably a fish. It onto the lure as a challenge. It probably was staring us down from a distance. I'm gonna take these kids on. It took us on. My sister screams, asking for aid. And I, who was studious in my work, decided this was first priority. I lay down my sister's pole. I run over to my sister, and I take the pole hand in hand with my sibling, and we together heaved, yelling at our father who was across the pond. What are you kids saying? What? You got a fish? Dad, we got a fish, Dad. Me and my sister are still struggling, pulling, heaving, trying to freaking turn the stupid crank on the fishing pole. We get the fish close, we can see it. It's a monster beneath the surface. Its black mass is just wiggling below. And then it gets close to the dock and we see it and we're like, this is the reason, the sole purpose we came to this campsite was to catch the monster of Potato Creek Lake. That doesn't make sense because the camping ground was called Potato Creek, but it was a lake that we were fishing in, thus the confusion of Potato Creek Lake. We we heaved with all of our strength, got the fish onto the dock. Two inexperienced children with a large fish. How do we contain this madness? We, with hands barely bigger, hardly the size of cupcake tins, push the fish to the floor of the dock with all of our might, with the fish wiggling about. The culmination of our existence. We had every moment of our lives was building up to this climatic battle with this scaly creature. Once we have it pinned, it starts getting loose. And we're still without a father at this point. I wonder what these kids are doing. I better take my time. Oh, what kind of tree is this over here? Hurry up, Dad! The fish, okay, it still has the hook in its mouth. We were too scared to try to reach in, to the interior of another living thing. As the fish wrenched itself from our grasps, flung itself over the side to escape back to its homeland. Push! It goes into the water, but we grab my mighty pole, which held on with the strength of 1,000 vices. My dad finally pulls up and solves the whole solution. Oh, you got a fish, kids? That's what this all commotion is? Yes, Dad, we got a fish. That's why we're so excited. That's why we're here, Dad. Okay. Let's get that fish. My dad, with the skill of 1,000 fishermen, put into one single human being, moves the fish from the water. Yeah, kids, this is a good catch. He looks like he's about a pound. A pound? What? And by golly, we were going to feast on its flesh that night. We cooked that fish. Oh, it was beautiful. And it was with my pole. It turns out my sister doesn't even like fish. She doesn't like fish. Thus, the moral of the story, small impressionable children, is to not help your siblings. Be selfish. Keep your fishing pole. In all seriousness, no. Please be kind to one another. Whew. Another one in the books. I'll see you all next time on the Chedd Bits.